Yeah, I hope your Sunday is off to a really good start. Welcome back to Bay Sunday. The Tony Award-winning San Francisco Mime Troupe is launching its 58th season. It's bringing political theater to Bay Area parks, and get this, free of charge. This season's SFMT premieres Walls. And here to tell us more about it is playwright, actor and director Michael Sullivan, and welcome to Bay Sunday.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first of all, you're a very busy guy. If you're the playwright, the actor, the director. Yeah. Now, tell me about this particular troupe, because when I hear mime, I'm thinking...
Yeah, I know, a lot of people do. Well, the San Francisco Mime Troupe, we do not do silent mime. Okay. We do political, musical comedy, normally about a really interesting and important political issue that's going on in our time. That, you know, sometimes we're talking about, and people say, well, how do you do a comedy about police brutality? Or how do you do a comedy about you know, war or racism or sexism? What we do is we find some issue, something inside of the issue, in a way that we can connect to the audience and hopefully open their mind up to a different way of looking at that particular issue. And this year, Walls is about immigration, about all the people that come to this country, what their expectations are, how they're treated, the lack of justice. And we try to do it in a way that is not demeaning to the immigrants, but at the same time is a kind of a bit of a critique of American policy.
This is amazing. As a troupe, how would you all collectively decide on one particular topic?
Well, each year we do a huge amount of research to figure out what is it that the audience wants to hear about, and we also have to try to be a little bit ahead. You know, like some people said, oh, you're going to do a show about Trump this year or something like that because of the election. And we're like, well, we really don't want to focus on something that too specific, you know, because who knows what's going to happen? Seriously, who knows what's going to happen? We don't have everything changed before the show's closed. But we knew that immigration has been an issue for decades in this country, and how people's attitudes towards it, how the working class sees their fellow workers kind of coming into the country, and how our judicial system treats people who come in. So we wanted to deal with something that was kind of longer term. And there's also like healthcare we deal with in the show. We deal with a lot of different issues. There's a lesbian couple. So we try to make the show as rich as we can, to reach as many people as we can. Like I said, to kind of act as an alternate to the stories that they hear about these issues.
Albeit a little bit more timely and specific to the week event, Saturday Night Live kind of does something like that and puts a spin of a spoof on it. Right. Are you serious in nature, or are you a little comedic?
Well, we try to use enough comedy, like I said, what one of our members says is, it's basically to crack people's heads open, so that, because comedy is a way for people to kind of relax. You know, it's just like music. You know, you use these things so that people can kind of relax and hear a different message. And instead of, I think people think, well, political theater, you're going to be standing up there telling us how to think, you know, and just preaching on it. It's like, no, we want it to be entertaining. What I always say is the San Francisco Mime Troupe show is just like seeing a Broadway musical, only it has a point.
How long has this current troupe been together?
We've been together for 58 years. We're coming on our 60th year. So we're one of the oldest theater companies, but we always bring in new members. So we always want to be, you know, vibrant and new and fresh, and not just this creepy.
Particularly your rehearsals.
Oh, well, the rehearsals, because we're doing a new musical every year, I, as the playwright and the director and the actors, we have to work together to kind of workshop the show in a way that, so I can go home, write something, bring it in, we change it. The lyricist is there to kind of say, well, can I take this part of the scene and make it into a song? They go off and rewrite something. We bring it in. So the actors are very much involved, like I said, like workshopping a play to try to hone it to a point where we can all feel like this is the message we want to say and this is how we want to say it.
So things could change on the spot at rehearsals as well. Oh, yes. You're not married to that copy.
Right, yeah, I write the script sometimes months in advance, but normally only weeks in advance, because I don't want to be behind the news. So I have to constantly change things. And then once we go into rehearsal, the actors might have wonderful suggestions. So the director or a musician might say, what about this line? Or I'm from that country. This is how we would say this. Things like that that just make the show richer.
So right now you're talking about immigration. Anything else in your show that you kind of intertwine with?
Everything.
Everything. Anything that you want to spill right now?
Well, you know, you said there are different issues, different people who immigrate from different countries, whether you're coming from Africa, whether you're coming from Latin America, whether you're coming from Europe, different relationships that happen in the show. There is you know, the main story revolves around a woman who's come from Mexico because of the climate change that's happening there. Her family's losing their farm. She comes into the United States. She's an undocumented immigrant, and she falls in love. with an immigration agent.
See, I almost said that sounded like my family, but then you lost me at immigration agent.
Yeah. And so they're in love, and so the immigration agent is struggling with, well, what do I mean, this is the woman I love and I want to protect, and I'm supposed to deport. And then her fellow workers are searching for this particular woman. And so so we try to make sure that it's still a dramatic and comedic story, but at the same time really dealing with the real issues of what would that be like.
I'm hooked. I'm intrigued. I want to be there. And if you do too, I want to thank you, first of all, for being here today. You're so delightful and animated. I love your joy and your spirit. You too can see the play, and it's called Walls. It's playing all summer long, July 1st through September 10th. It will be performing at Cedar Rose Park in Berkeley on July 1st and 2nd, and Dolores Park on July 4th. Tickets are free. Thank you so much for being here. And when Bay Sunday returns, a comic book about San Francisco's first Asians, it's brought to life.